Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in today again for another session and the last session for day 3 of our Deep Tech Innovation Week. What a phenomenal day it has been. In fact, what a phenomenal last 3 days it has been. We started with day 1 on Industry 4.0, day 2 on FinTech, and today it's been really awesome because we've had 2 amazing sessions. One, which is a panel discussion of CIOs and chief execs of companies, which spoke about multiple challenges that they're facing and how are they addressing those challenges, right from crisis after crisis that the world is facing, and their job is to make things normal, whatever that means. Um, so they've been struggling on one side, but also they've been finding answers along the way. In this ever-changing world, ever-changing normal, of course, one thing is become quite normal, which is cloud. Everyone knows that the future is cloud. A lot of organizations have already adopted it. A lot of organizations on the verge of moving into that journey. Whether it's financial services companies, whether it is startups, whether it is retail, manufacturing, everyone knows that cloud is the way forward, if not already adopted by them. What we saw in the earlier session was how do you provision and modernize your environment using cloud and manage the entire cloud environment, right? So cost, governance, reporting, chargeback, tagging, these are various challenges organizations face with regards to cloud. However, there is one thing that has still not been addressed by many organizations, and they do face that challenge. That challenge was referred to by Chris, the CIO at Uphold, in our panel discussion, and he spoke about that. He spoke about identity. He said that there is a massive challenge we are all facing of how do we look at identity in from various environments. Now, giving access to systems, giving access to users is important because obviously that's the only way that they can access the services and applications. But identity is becoming so complex when it moves to cloud. And today, to talk about that, we have a session which is focused on identity on cloud using Converged IAM platforms. The the objective of this session has been derived from a point of view. Can you get to the next slide, please? See, if we look at why did we need this session, right? So we're looking at and we're researching various aspects at network science, and we found that there is obviously identity is a big massive issue for everyone. Hacking, theft, fraud happens because identity is not being established well from an access standpoint. Identity thefts, frauds by imposters, hackers, threat actors is what we see 46% of frauds happening because of that. Zero trust technologies, right? Today we're finding governments after governments sending out mandates to the government departments of adopting to zero trust architectures in the next 2-3 years. Why is that happening? Primarily because the identity is becoming a big challenge. They need to identify, am I giving access to the right person or am I giving access to an imposter? How do you identify the two? How do you manage, govern, provide access and things like that to these individuals? So that's the future potential. We see massive growth happening in this kind of market. The numbers are mind blowing, of course. Close to $25 billion will be spent on identity and access management over the next 2-3 years. Uh, and we will find, while identity and access management, of course, becoming a complex issue, the more complexity comes because there are many aspects of identity management. There are many solutions. There are different solutions that have to be brought together to make identity and access management work. Um, but then there is one category, and then there is one category leader, and I'll talk about both of them. The category that we are now seeing coming up, in a large part of our conversations, is a SaaS delivered converged IAM platforms. These will become a very absolutely preferred way of addressing the challenges of identity and access management. Employees can access from anywhere. It's quick to implement. It's convergence because it's single platform, single sign on. Improves the agility of companies. Of course, reduces the cost of management and things like that. So while there is the area around the category that is getting new category that is getting created, and hence we thought it's important for us to present the solution to all of you by the category leader. And the category leader today is Islantis. Islantis is taking the first steps of creating a converged IAM. They have been able to implement this at multiple enterprises today. I'm so glad to have Guru from Islantis coming on stage with me now, and to all speak about what this converged IAM is about. How do you manage it? How do you operate? Guru, of course, comes from a very extensive background of working on identity centric cybersecurity solutions. Has been a pioneer, has built some solutions, and I continues to enhance the platforms that Islantis provides to the market. Guru, we are all looking forward to this session. Thank you for
Absolutely.
joining in.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thanks for the introduction of the topic as well as a brief introduction about me. To everyone, appreciate the time. I know this is the last session, and I would want to keep it much interesting. Okay, my name is Guru Prasad Sarlaya. I have been in the industry for the last 18 years, and with Alantis for the last 12 years in the complete identity space and the cybersecurity forum. Worked across the globe in Fortune 500 companies for serving them as well as working for them. Been with Alantis, we have been working on the niche aspects of converged identity and access management. Alantis been is in the domain of identity for the last 22 years. And in this aspects of identity, we are not new. We understand the domain, and we are going to talk about why convergence and how it is important and how it is going to be a driving force in the industry today, in the world that we are living in. So just to quickly introduce the topic as well. Okay, I'm going to quickly share my screen and start with the presentation itself. Okay. To run with a few slides and then followed with a quick demonstration of the solution and the platform as well. But to begin with, we would run a quick poll just to get a pulse on the few aspects of where the industry is today in terms of the clouds. And if you guys can, check the poll questions and then rate the questions, that would be great. So, team, is the poll answered?
Yes, the poll is live.
Okay.
I do see everyone coming in, guys. We're going to wait for a few more minutes for you to send out your votes. How important are these to you? IAM for cloud, zero trust framework, continuous authentication, managed IAM. Yeah, I mean, Guru, it's a difficult question, by the way, you've asked, because it seems to be that we're getting broadly similar weightages across all the answers. But of
Yes.
course, zero trust getting the maximum votes. The maximum
Yes.
votes coming in for zero trust, followed by IAM for cloud, and then for continuous authentication. But
Absolutely.
it's not a runaway piece, right? So there are 40% of people who are saying zero trust,
Yes.
but then 25% saying that it's IAM for cloud. So it's not, both of them are quite taking care of 80%, 75 to 80% of the answer itself.
No, absolutely. I think that is where the world is today. Zero trust today has a lot of buzzword in terms of the framework, the concept, and what drives it is the identity at the background of it, along with the other elements. And that is where I think we are going to talk about a few of the aspects. Before I go towards the future of IAM, I would have few slides just to cover briefly on how we arrived today, right, to where we are today. If you look at our history a little, right, there have been in the traditional world different vendors and different providers who provided point solutions across the different elements of the IAM. IAM domain itself has evolved in the last 10 years, right? They were somewhere which was just from an automation standpoint, it has gone into a centralized element, bringing in the aspects of SSO, password management, automation, authentication, authorization, where we have gone from an simple role-based authorization to RBAC to ABAC today that we stand, PBAC that we are doing. The MFA has evolved from being a simple biometric to and challenge and response to today the facial recognitions, touch ID and face IDs. Federation has evolved 10 times. Today, every integration stands over there. But these are the different parts. And today, privileged account management, secret, bots have taken the forefront of it, right? And that is where, but if you look at it, traditionally, these were provided by point products vendors. Every domain had its own specialization. Every element, there have been hundreds of vendors over there. But what has been done, what has consolidated in the last 3 years is where largely segmented into these key domain areas, which is access management, identity governance and administration, where the elements of all the SSO, password management, authentication, access enforcement were bucketed by mainly and provided by a few of the main access management vendors, be it your Okta, Ping Identity, who specializes, and few of the elements of IBM and Oracle, okay, where they had, specific access management product that were dedicated to only access management. Then are the identity governance and administration product or product vendors, right, who specialized in the provisioning elements of it. And then similarly, you have the privileged access management. That is the world today that we have been there for the last, I think, 4 to 5 years. And yes, drastically, from an infrastructure standpoint, cloud has been the largest adoption, and the last 2 years is a point in turn for the organization to move from an on-prem to the cloud, right? And today we are talking about multi-cloud scenarios, and that's the current state, as in it has been evolved. But if you see the challenges that has been faced, that continue to face in today's world, has expanded a little, right? For the last 2 years, the notion of employee was trusted, okay, insider was safe, and outsider is the threat, has been completely redefined. Today, identity as a perimeter has expanded itself, okay. We cannot distinguish between an employee or a contractor or a vendor. Everyone needs to be looked at it one from a single pane of glass. Governance has no more limited to enterprise segments, right? It is not only few of your SAP applications or your internally hosted SOX applications. PI today is across the cloud, right? The data resides across the cloud. So the governance in the cloud is one of the key elements that organizations are looking towards. Continuous authentications and the zero trust is one of the primary objective that organizations are working towards. And to enable all this, and then you are looking at, if you look at where we were today of the complex solutions that had different product and product vendors in different specializations, and then you're looking at integrating these solutions to provide a continuous authentication or governance, or having a zero trust framework, because the zero trust framework is not a product, it is a concept, it is an framework that enables you to have and trust who the user is coming in and continuously authenticate it. And these challenges have redefined the way in which IAM is going to operate in the in the future. So one of the elements that we are talking about in here is the convergence. So I just want to quickly showcase the convergence IAM market and what analysts are talking today. Gartner and Kapinga Cole, one of the two leading IAM analysts today in the world, have been talking about where Gartner calls it as an converged IAM and Kapinga Cole calls it as an identity fabric. And both of them talk about the aspect of converging okay, the different domains under one single platforms, and the vendors providing them as a true converged IAM platform solution, right? And if you look at what Gartner talks about is in the next 2 or 3 years, okay, we are um, every 70% of the new deployments will be driven through a convergent solution rather than a point solution, and looking at different vendors taking it. One of the key aspects that is redefined in the last 2 years is also the knowledge and the skill set that is needed to maintain this big solutions, right? And that is where for a large set of organization mid market, MSSP is going to be a key driving factor to provide a converged solution to the organizations. What it means is organizations are looking forward to the MSSP providers to basically provide them a converged solution as well. So these are very key predictions, and there are two elements of convergence. One is a true convergence. Organizations who have ground up thought about this concept, okay, and built a product that um, uh, at its core is in a convergence manner. Then you have the stitched convergence that we call it as, where you're looking at vendors who have started acquiring products, okay. They might be specialized in PAM, for example, and they went ahead and acquired an IGA and a SSO solution, or a vendor who is good in access management piece of it, and they're acquiring IGA and the PAM part of it. That's the stitch convergence. The true convergence is where the key aspects is, and there are very few niche players who are in the true convergence. Alantis is one of the leading pioneers in the true convergence market. Okay, we are the only one of the providers who have ground built, developed the platform, okay, with identity at the center of it, and we'll talk a little more about it as well. But just to talk about the convergence itself as to what we are looking at, right? The convergence is where we have a single platform, okay, covering the different elements of the complete IAM domain, right? From authentications to the governance, the administration, the access management, the simple aspects of password to passwordless, the enforcement of the MFA, the aspects of privileged account management, enforcing the least privileged access, just-in-time privileged access, and the governance, both from an enterprise perspective as well as from a cloud perspective, enabling a very strong framework to have to work towards the zero trust framework that provides you the ability to take analytic and risk driven actions, because zero trust is not about just identification, but it's also about verification and enforcement. And for enforcement, you need an integrated framework and a platform, okay, in which you can identify the risk as well as enforce the risk, okay. And that is where the convergence come in a much more standardized format where you can enforce it. Beyond all this, it enables you the simplicity of administration, because you're collapsing different vendor products, different consoles into one single platform, okay, one single administrative interface, one single end user interface that becomes a completely business intuitive and much more simple to understand, follow, and as well as enforce from an organization perspective. It enables to enforce both the cloud as well as the enterprise elements of the governance aspect of it, the policy aspect of it, as well as the other elements that goes into the cloud, right? You're looking at a very shorter time frame as well, because one convergence provides you elements to onboard one application rather than onboarding an application for an SSO, onboarding an application for governance, onboarding an application from a provisioning standpoint. Rather than that, you're looking at onboarding it once and reuse the identity and the accounts across the different framework. There are organizations who are looking, especially for the MSSP, a multi-tenanted architecture that enables MSSP providers as well to provide a much more scalable solution, enabling MSSPs to provide this converged solution into their market as well. That's the convergence. And though there are multiple predictions about the future of IAM, convergence has been one of the very strong predictions across the different analytics, and that is where the market is driving towards. And organizations and vendors have already started acquiring products, and that's where Alantis is one of the leaders in it. Rather than acquiring, we have the product already built, ground up with identity at the core of it. Just to introduce, Alantis Converged IAM platform. Okay, as we talked about the convergence, compact identity, that is our Converged IAM platform name, is a single code base and a single platform solution where we provide the ability of the depth and the breadth of the functionalities of the identity and access management part of it, right from authentication to access management enforcement, built-in MFA factors with the ability to enforce MFAs across the different contexts, provide you the ability to have authentication workflows, continuous authentications with the ability to trust your devices with certificate, as well as integration with your third-party MDM solutions. For example, a centralized administration and governance process where you can write your entire JML business automation processes, define them, as well as govern them, not only for your enterprise application, but as well as all the way to the cloud, with the ability to integrate with most of the popular cloud platforms, as well as enforce the policies that enables you from an cloud governance standpoint as well. And beyond that, we also provide the privileged access management capabilities of just-in-time access that enforces the least privileged and as required access only, okay, in a time-bound fashion with the privileged elevated access, enabling zero trust, a risk-aware system that provides you the ability to risk or score a risk for an identity and take a risk-based view and analytics of enforcing and access to the organizations itself, right? Um, uh, One of the key elements of our platform is an identity-centric architecture where we consider the identity to be the crux of the entire solution, and every other elements is a feature that enables around that centralized identity. Rather than replicating identities across different product, identity remains at the center of it, providing the different elements of the IAM and expanding towards your enterprise security aspects of CASPs, UEBA, SCIM, DLPs, as well as beyond that into the cloud of Azure, GCPs, and AWS itself, right? So just this is a quick slide and a presentation and a view towards what and how compact identity is different from our competitions. And Gartner talks about only the possible three converged IAM vendors today, and Alantis has been ranked as one of the complete converged IAM platform, okay, by KuppingerCole, both from an access management standpoint, IGA standpoint, as well as the PAM standpoint, right? Um, the elements that we have taken, okay, enables both from an administrative usability standpoint, as well as from an end user view standpoint. It enables you to onboard applications in a very shorter time period. We have provided a lot of guided help, okay, and also we are providing unique solutions to our partners, both MSSP as well as our technology partners, with the unique end user help, okay, with 24/7 guided help system itself that is automated in a way and enables the organization, the end users to take help by themselves itself. Now, we would like to quickly show a quick demo of our solution to give a quick view into the platform itself. Okay. Okay. So from an end user view perspective, okay, I'm just logging in as a user, okay, and so This I'm logging in as an end user to the dashboard where you can see the different applications that are authorized to the user. On the left hand side, what provides is the different elements which are completely role controlled. You can authorize it based on the type of the users, be it your end users, the approvers, the managers, the reviewers, and each of these elements or the uh, tabs basically represent the different features that can be enabled. Okay, and these features basically caters to the aspects of requesting additional accesses, where you can request for self, be it your roles or your applications. You can request for yourself or for request others. You can search users here, and based whether it is based on the manager hierarchy or based on the users that are available, and also select and request the access for them as well. Okay, once you are requested, if you are an end user, if you are a manager, you would get those requests on the approval tab, where you can approve or deny those requests. And yeah, as an end user, you can track the request as well. So in the same interface, you can launch the applications across the application authorizations that you have access to. And as a part of the launch, you can enforce MFA, for example, over here, as well as go all the way to the targets, seamlessly log in into the SSO as well. In the same interface, if you are a manager, you can also look at the review task, where you can review the entitlements, be it your roles or application or the user, take the action of retain revoke, which basically enables you to retain an entitlements or revoke an entitlement. Okay, and all of these functions can be performed right from the centralized end user interface itself. And when it comes to administrative interface, you would be in a position to so sorry so when it comes to admin interface, okay, I'm logging in into admin. And from an administrative interface, what we have provide you is one centralized administration process, where we provide the dashboard with the key widgets, a centralized application interface to onboard and manage applications across the different integration patterns, right from the aspects of SAML, OAuth, OIDC, to web, the thick client applications like desktop, like SAP Logon, for example, to all the way to the IGA applications as well. You can provide the ability to define roles, the identities, you can define workflows, as well as take the elements of advanced access control mechanism, for example, MFAs, okay, and the continuous authentication pattern using the advanced access management elements, where you can write policies, okay, you can define policies that not only governs based on certain simple elements of if conditions, but also can go beyond that to check for the network range, the device type, the certificate, where you can do the certificate checks, geolocation, MAC address, risk-based enforcement, where the system automatically defines the risk, calculates the risk, and enforces based on the risk itself, right? And you can also define the time of access and the velocities. From a workflow standpoint, we provide both the access request as well as the governance workflows, conditions, where you can define conditions. You can define the conditions for attributes, for reviewers, for entitlements as well. Okay, a centralized interface for providing a converged IAM solution, both from an end user standpoint as well as the administration standpoint. Now, to make beyond all this, to make administrative life easy, we provide a guided help, and this is a self-help where administrators can type in as simple as say how to define a password policy, where it could guide you, take you to the different steps that are needed to define a password policy, to all the way to a complex of onboarding an application. For example, Active Directory, I want to onboard. It would take you through the different steps of onboarding an applications. Okay, we publish all our connectors on a centralized app store. Okay, where you can go and search for any of your connectors that are available and download it onto your interface. right? So these are few of the as in 2500 plus published connectors across the different elements, and you can basically go search for any of the available connectors over here, and then basically download it. That can then the self-help would enable you and guide you through the remaining steps of the configuration itself. Okay, so that's a quick overview of the Converged IAM platform from Atlantis. So just to one last slide, okay, just to talk about Atlantis itself. Okay, Atlantis has been in the IAM domain for the last 22 years. We have grown ourselves from a pure play service, professional services organization to a product company today. Okay, and for the last 5 years, we have been serving our customers globally with both our professional services as well as our product, which is Compact Identity. Compact Identity is a single platform SaaS delivered IAM solution, which is available as a SaaS delivered solution for our customers, as well as for the select customers. And in the industry, we do provide it as an on-prem solution as well for deployment. We are being recognized by KuppingerCole, Gartner's, Forrester Sullivan. We have and few of the other analysts. We are the only one of the only vendors who are in KuppingerCole's both IAM Magic IAM IAM as well as in the IGA analyst report of from KuppingerCole. And in Gartner, we are both in the access management quadrant as well as in the IGA report as well. We have a global network of both the technology and as well as professional services partners, okay, through whom we deliver our solution across the globe and the different industries as well. Okay, so that's I think the last slide that I have. Uh, so Sandy, do we have a poll coming in? Sandy?
Uh, I was speaking on mute. Thanks, Guru. It was a brilliant session. Thank you very much for taking us through. I continue to be quite excited about the change that is happening in the identity space, and the work that you are doing and Atlantis is doing is quite commendable. We have got a few. We've got a few questions that we would like to take right now. If
Yeah,
you're okay, Guru.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So there is a question coming in from Alex. He says, we are a Microsoft shop and heavy users of Azure AD. How can we retain current investments while using rich capabilities of your platform? Please help shed some light on this aspect.
Sure, absolutely. So that's a great question, and we understand that not all customers are going to be a greenfield customers. There are going to be some of the customers that are leveraging a few of the existing solutions. Like you is the Azure. Compact Identity integrates and is a technology partner of Microsoft and have a published plugin with Azure AD itself, where you can continue to use Azure AD if you are using for access management, but and as well publish. We act as a service provider. You can publish us on your dashboard and have a seamless login, where you can extend the solution to perform the IGA, access request approval, access governance, and the privileged access management capabilities as well. And when the time is right, then you can always migrate it over from Azure AD to the Compact Identity solution from an access management, given a choice. Yes.
Brilliant. Guru, another question is with regards to longer deployment cycle is
Yes.
always a worry for my board. Would this help minimize implementation overheads? Any statistics to share?
That's a great
Question from Sophia Gray.
yes, absolutely. That is one of the key aspects. I think our president had talked about given a webinar a few days back about how or what are the key aspects to avoid IAM implementation failures, right? So in Atlantis, for our solution, we have created one other tool called as IART, okay, which enables a faster onboarding of applications. One of the key aspects of onboarding an applications, there are two elements of it. One is understanding the landscape itself. Second is the product in which you're going to onboard. Now, to answer your question from a product standpoint, compact identity definitely enables you to, onboard an application one time. Okay, you do not need to go to an application multiple times to onboard for SSO, for IGA, for PAM, or for a few of the other elements that exist, right? So you're onboarding one time that applications. You have all the integration elements that you need with that applications once, and then you are basically adding the functions. So in our projects that we are executing, it definitely have shortened the timeline to onboard applications by doing it in a converged manner and into the converged solution itself. And beyond that, it's also the administration, the extensibility, and the ease of use from both the end user and the administration perspective.
Could you touched over that point on ease of use by the end user community? I think that also leads me to the next question, because adoption of identity and access management solutions requires a lot of change management at the user side, at the end
Yes.
user side, right?
Yes.
So the question by Alan Paul is, could you elaborate upon ease of adoption by your end user community? Perhaps share some relevant examples.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a great question as well. Now, that is where again, right? Convergence is a great story to from an adoption standpoint, right? Because you do not need to. You have one single interface when it comes to granting accessing applications, requesting access, approving access, okay, and reviewing access. So you are basically tackling four different type of users. Okay, one is an end user, a manager, a reviewer, an SOD owner for that example, as well as a help desk. Okay, as a part of one, say, be it your training or be it your, familiarity, enabling the familiarity of the tool itself. Now, in compact identity, as you have seen the user guide for administrator, we also have the user guide for end users. And end users can, instead of publishing documents where you have screenshot, the interface that we provided as a guided help for administrator enables also for the end users, where end users can navigate the different elements by themselves. So you don't need to have recorded sessions. It basically guides you step by step. Our customers have a higher adoption, both from due to the guided help, as well as the aspects that you do it once, okay, and you do it across all the domains of IAM itself.
Sure, sure. I just got a message on WhatsApp coming in on my web WhatsApp group. There are a few people joining in on LinkedIn Live as well, so possibly it's coming from there. Is your platform using zero trust principles? You started with that, I know.
Yes.
You started with that, right? So you mentioned about zero trust framework and things like that. So obviously it is related to that. It also questions about, is your platform modular?
Yes.
And and what are the various applications? The specific applications being questioned here are Jira, Confluence.
Yes.
uh, does your platform connect to those?
Yes, absolutely. Again, a great question. Thanks for asking them. Okay, so yes, as in our solution is built on the zero trust principle. Okay, and we provide a very rich risk framework. Okay, that enables you to define risk scoring, and also the system caters to the different dynamics of the attributes itself, both from an authentication standpoint, the access administration standpoint, as well as the governance standpoint. And these attributes are in real time calculated, collected, calculated, and based on the risk score itself, we have the ability to define and enforce the actions that can be taken onto an user. Now, to talk about the modular aspect of the solution, yes, compact identity is modular in nature. As I explained, identity is at the center of our platform, and the aspects of access management, administration, governance are just features that you enable. And to the earlier question, we talked about Azure AD, right? So if a customer using Azure AD, that's when we provide them the modular license of administration and the governance. Same way for a customer who is starting something fresh, you can always start from access management, okay, but just enable the feature. You do not need to have install a new product, okay, it is all there. You just enable a license that would provide you the features to say do a role based provisioning and an entitlement based access request. So the simplicity in which you basically onboard a new project, for example, right? If not, typically it is a 1 year project, okay, for an IGA to be onboarded right from scratch, because you don't have identity to begin with. Now if you are an access management, you are using access management module of compact identity, which means that you already have identities, you have certain aspects of birthright already defined, and you're just adding certain features into the solution that basically enables automated provisioning. So the simplicity is mind boggling, okay, in which it can be enforced across the organization applications. Now answer the third question of Confluence and Jira. Yes, we do have a published connectors, okay, both from a REST API standpoint as well as the Scheme API standpoint to Confluence and Jira. Yes.
Awesome. Guru, what about privacy? What about GDPR compliances?
Yes.
How does your platform take care of all that?
Yes, absolutely. I think geo distribution and segregation is one of the key aspects. Okay, we have our data centers. We use AWS as and Azure as well as our preferred data centers. Okay, we have different containers based on the geography itself. US goes into the US data centers. Europe goes into the European data center, and the Asia Pac goes into the Asia Pac data center. Our solutions are completely multi-tenanted in the cloud, and we have tenant level securities and segregation at the tenant level that enforces the privacy and the segregation of the data itself. Alantus by itself is a SOC 2 compliant for the last 8 years. Okay, we take that very seriously. Okay, and we are self-declared GDPR compliant as well.
Awesome. There could be more questions, Guru, but I think we have, time is of a
Yes,
sense, being the last session as well. I think it was a
absolutely.
brilliant conversation, Guru. I've been, interacting with you and a lot of people at Islantis, and I do see a massively amazing professional company that you guys have built. So congratulations for that. Of
Yep.
course, the platform is amazing. Platform is very unique and very pioneering, and is using very very new techniques. You did show about the self help module. I mean, that's a fabulous module. Not many software providers actually get that right.
Yes.
Or you guys have got it right. So fantastic job. Congratulations for that. And thank you very much for joining in today, Guru.
Yep.
It was brilliant having you on our Deep Tech Innovation Week today.
No, pleasures is ours. And from Alantis, really, thank you, Sandy, for the opportunities. And thank you all for coming in, spending 45 minutes of your time. And it has been a great pleasure for me as well. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Guru. And dear friends, my fellow deep tech enthusiasts, thank you very much for joining in for our day 3. We're signing off now. But as we sign off, please remember we have got a quick poll coming to your screen with regards to the quality of this conversation. How relevant was it for you? Would you like to know more? We would like to get your feedback as well. As you guys are putting in this poll, please remember that we continue our conversation, our innovation discussions for tomorrow as well, being the last day. And tomorrow's focus, while it all started today itself, a lot of discussions around cybersecurity started today. But tomorrow also we will focus on cybersecurity, where we have a fantastic panel coming up. The panel members for tomorrow again will be moderated by Tech UK. We will be joined in by the CISO of PayU Finance, a fintech company out of India. We'll have the CISO of 118 Money, again a fintech company out of UK, and we will also have the CIO and CISO of Costa Coffee, who coming in and joining us tomorrow. So please join in for an amazing panel discussion starting at 2 p.m. GMT. That will be followed on with the unified secure access using the zero trust. We spoke about zero trust in this session. We continue that, how software-defined perimeters are getting created using new techniques to help avoid or help defend our perimeter. And the last session, and I'm quite excited about that session at 4 o'clock, which is the last session, we'll talk about the Ukraine-Russia crisis, and it will talk about his impact on threat intelligence. We've got some phenomenal insights of how cyber warfare is being undertaken along with the physical warfare that we are seeing on the ground. Fascinating findings. Please do not miss that session as well. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining in. Bye for now.